Alright guys, algebraic fractions again. Second video on algebraic fractions, but this one is on multiplying and dividing. Let's take a few things into consideration before I start telling you about this. So if I've got, I don't know, let's go for 3/5 multiplied by 1/2, okay? Normally what we will do, actually I want to change that half, I want to make it a third, and I've got my reasons I'll tell you in a minute. Let's make it a third. Now we already know, most people what they do is they just multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators, and which we can do that because, well, we can't do it when we're adding and subtracting fractions. Just try and remember the difference. So multiply the numerators, multiply denominators. Well, when we multiply the numerators, we're going to get 3. We multiply the denominator, we'll get 15. Now that poses a small problem. This is the answer, but it's not the answer in the simplest form. So now we have to go through the trouble of trying to find a common factor that goes into 3 and 15 and then simplify it. Well, that common factor is going to be 3. If we divide by 3, we get 1. If we divide by 3, we get 5. And so we can say the final answer is 1/5 in its simplest form. When I teach this, I like showing people something quite simple, which is rather than be quick to sort of multiply the top and the bottom, let's keep them separate for now. We'll multiply them, but we wouldn't put the final answer down. So I'm going to show you this as an aside. This becomes 3 times 1 over 5 times 3. Now the minute that happens, I've literally got 3 divided by 3 there, because I can swap things around if I want. I can have this as 1/5 divided times 3 over 3. But I've got, just look for anything, so long as they're multiplying, this works. 3 over 3, which I can now cancel out. And so my final answer is just what's left, which is 1 divided by 5. Okay, which you can see just the 1 and the 5 there. Right, now let's move on to letters then. Well, there are no common business here, so this is going to be straightforward AC. So let's Right, so this becomes AC over BD, and that's done. Okay, just multiply the top, multiply the bottom, and you're done. This little slash here tells you that I'm actually dividing 2 fractions. Now, we in the maths world, we don't like dividing fractions. So what we do is we change it to multiply. And how we do that is by saying that AB is multiplying by the reciprocal of C over D. So this becomes D over C. So remember, whenever you change that divide to multiply, which you probably should know about anyway from a long time of doing fractions, all you need to do is flip this over, put the D on top, put the C at the bottom. Okay, now that we're multiplying, simple job. Multiply the top, multiply the bottom, and that gives us AD over BC. All right, and that is done. And that's just the intro. Now, let's move into looking at problems. Okay, so in this problem, we will do exactly as we were doing before. We've got our little dot in the middle to tell us that we're multiplying. So what I'll do is I'll take this apart in little bits first, show you step by step, and then I'll stop doing that after a while. So rather than multiply everything out, we will just have 4 times 3 times y squared times x squared, all of that divided by 9 times 2 times x times y, because that's exactly what we've got. We've got a 4 and a 3, y squared and x squared, they're all multiplying. 9 and 2, x and y, and they're all multiplying. So therefore, that now gives us, before we try to cancel anything out, before we try to, merge anything, it's always best to see what terms are alike and what can be cancelled out. So for example, This 2 can go into that 4 2 times. So I will cancel that out. That becomes a 1 and that becomes a 2. Similar situation, this 3 goes into that 9 3 times. So that cancels out. That becomes a 1, that becomes a 3. This x squared and that x, they can interact with each other. I'll just do a quick aside here to say that x squared is x times x. So we've got 2 lots of x's there and 1 there. So when they cancel out, that becomes a 1. This just becomes x on top there. And it's the same thing that's going to happen with the y's. So that becomes a 1 there, and this becomes just a y. And all we now need to do is look to see what we've got. We've got 2, 1, y, and x. So we can put them together, 2x, y. And down at the bottom in the denominator, we just got 3's and a bunch of 1's. When you multiply them all out, you're just going to get 3. Okay? And that's basically it, guys. So pretty straightforward that. Let's have a look at another problem. Let's go another problem waiting in the wings here. So let's have a look at this one. Same sort of thing's going to happen, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start cutting back a bit rather than show you things in all that detail. I'll just talk about it. Now before I do anything, I want to know what this bad boy is doing. So I'm going to factorize it, and I'm going to make the assumption you know how to factorize. If you don't, check out one of my videos on factorization. So I'm going to keep everything else the same, except for this. I'll factorize it, and I'll factorize it by saying that's going to be equal to 2 into x minus 3. Okay. Now, if you notice, you're going to see x minus 3, and guess what that means? That means that's gone and that's gone, leaving me with just a 1 on the top there. Okay. And look closely again. That 5 and this 15 can interact with each other. 5 goes into 15 3 times. So that becomes a 1 and that becomes a 3. Okay, so we can finally finish this up now by saying the top times the top. So 1 times 1 gives me 1. And 3 times 2 gives me 6. So all of this has been whittled down to just 1/6. All right, your turn to start having a think of something to try. So here's one for you then. Why not pause the video and have a go, and then I will do it in a few seconds. All right, so here we go. Again, don't be too hasty to start messing around with anything. Keep everything the same with the exception of the denominator here. We'll factorize it. Let's bring the x outside. So if x comes out, we're going to have x minus 5 in brackets there. Okay. Now, straight away, x minus 5 and x minus 5. So you know what that means. That's gone, that's gone, that's just a 1 there. Again, this 5 will interact with this 10. 5 goes into itself once and it goes into 10 2 times. We can now finish this off by just multiplying the top and the bottom of what's left. 1 times 1 gives us 1, and 2 times x gives us 2x. And just like that, that is done. Just like that. Okay, again, here's another one. Oh, I'll need to talk to you about this one a little bit first. So let's have a quick chat about it. We're dividing this time, and we don't like dividing. So remember what we said at the very beginning. We'll change it to multiply. So we'll keep this the same, change that to multiply, and flip that over or reciprocate it. So the 4 goes on top, the x comes at the bottom. Now that we're multiplying, we're exactly where we want to be, because now you can see things that are common. Like, for example, that 4 and that 4. So that becomes 1, that becomes 1. And also, this x and that x can cancel out So that becomes 1, and that's just a 3 there. So last of all, we finish this off by now saying multiply the tops. So 3 times that 1 gives us 3, and 1 times that 1 just gives us 1. Final answer of 3. Okay, now let's start looking at some more complicated problems. Okay, so here we have another situation. We've got two quadratics divided by each other, and we need to simplify this as far as we possibly can and make it as simple as possible. Now, another assumption I'm going to make is that you know how to factorize a quadratic. I'm going to make that assumption. If you don't, again, you need to go back and look for one of my videos on factorizing quadratics. So let's have a go. Hope that you can factorize quadratics. So once we factorize these two, we're going to get, okay, so this gives us then x plus 3 and x minus 1 divided by 2x plus 1 and x plus 3. And straight away, bells should be going off in your head right now, where you literally go x plus 3, x plus 3. Guess what that means? Goodbye, goodbye. So our final answer then is x minus 1 over 2x plus 1. There's nothing else we can cancel there. That is pretty much done and dusted. Okay, let's look at another problem. So here we got another situation, and again, going to make the assumption you can factorize. You will need to factorize this. Once you factorize it, you are going to get a difference of squares at the top, which gives us 2x plus 1 and 2x minus 1, because that's a difference of 2 squares at the top there. And then all of that is going to be divided by, once you factorize the bottom, you get 2x minus 1 all over x plus 3 there. And straight away, we're going to see that we're going to have some cancellations there and there, because they're both the same. Thereby giving us a final answer of 2x plus 1 all over x plus 3. Alright, that's pretty easy and straightforward. Okay, so let's have a look at another one that you can do. So it might be an idea now for you to try having a go at that. So pause the video and have a go, and then I'll go through the answers in a minute. Okay, so this will now give us then, once you factorize the top, you're going to get 2x minus 1 and 3x plus 2. You have difference of 2 squares at the bottom there, so that will now give you 3x plus 2 in one bracket and 3x minus 2 in the other bracket, and again that will be gone, giving you an answer of 2x minus 1 all over 3x minus 2. Okay, so that's that. Here's our final challenge in this video then. Well, don't worry too much about it. It's not that bad. It looks very scary, but let's analyze what we've got. Well, we've got a fraction there, we've got a fraction there. It looks like they're dividing, so we need to change that to multiply. Don't be too anxious to get to be like multiplying or combining anything first. Let's see if we factorize the things that we've got, what happens. So we'll do quite a few things in one go. The first job, let's keep things the same first. So x squared plus 6x. Let's try and make this look a little bit neater. Plus 6x minus 7 all of that over x squared minus 4. Change that to multiply and flip things over x squared plus 2x all over x plus 7. Okay, now what I want to do is start factorizing things out, which will then give me, for just this bit at the top here, that will give me a couple of brackets that will be x plus 7 and x minus 1. All of that over, I have got difference of two squares there, so x plus 2 and x minus 2 multiplied by, common factor here is x, so if we bring x out, we're going to have x plus 2 there, and we've got x plus 7 at the bottom. Well, this is a bonanza for calculations, for cancellations I should say, but look at it. We've got x plus 7, goodbye, goodbye. We've got x plus 2, see you later, see you later. And is there anything else? No, there's nothing else. So finally we've got x plus x minus 1 and that x, and then just x minus 2 at the bottom. So we finish off by saying x into x minus 1 divided by x minus 2, and you are done. You might be tempted, and I've seen students do this, say, oh, I can cancel that x out. You can't do that because this x is, it's got 2 subtracting from it, and this one doesn't. Okay, this one is a product of this bracket here. They're multiplying by each other. You can't do it, don't do it. Okay, this is done just the way it is. All right, time for you to have a go now then. So here's another problem. Follow the rules. Don't try to multiply anything out. Just factorize first, see what you get, but first of all sort out that division. All right, pause the video, have a go. Okay, I hope you had fun with that. Let's have a look and compare notes. So, first job, keep everything the same before you try doing anything else. So keep that x squared plus x minus 30 all over x squared minus 16. Change that to multiply x squared plus 4x there at the top, and now x plus 6 is hanging out at the bottom. Now what I want to do is factorize. I can't do anything with that. So here we go. Let's start factorizing. At the top, we're going to get x plus 6 and x minus 5 divided by difference of 2 squares at the bottom, so x plus 4 and x minus 4 multiplied by, factorize there, bring the x out, so x into x plus 4 there, and we can't do anything about that x plus 6, that's just on its own. And again, yet another bonanza of cancellations. Look, x plus 6 and x plus 6, goodbye, goodbye. And again, x plus 4 and x plus 4, see you later, see you later. And finally, what we've got left is just this with that x and then that. So my final answer is x into x minus 5 divided by x minus 4, and this is done. I hope that's the answer that you got. Alright guys, we've spent a long time on this. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was, you were able to learn something from it. Try out some of your own algebraic fractions and see where you go. If I get time, I might do a video on algebraic fractions where it's an equation, so it might be equal to, I don't know, some number, and you need to then solve for x. Okay, I might do that, but at a later time I'll probably call it algebraic fractions 3. Okay, so good luck, and let me know if you have any issues.